So listen, I know the rest of the year looks absolutely atrocious at the theater, but there could be some real big movers and shakers out there, okay? Because you got Avatar 3 that's going to be coming out in mid-December. That's going to make a regrettable amount of money, and nobody's going to remember the film the moment that they leave the theater. And what is it? Yeah, Moana live action, and then even later this year, you're going to have Lilo and Stitch live action, and a Jurassic World Rebirth. Oh, God, there's going to be a bunch of crap that's out there. But of course, just sprinkled in the rest of it is just a bunch of stuff that's going to overpromise and underdeliver. And then even looking forward to 2026, like, you just got a whole host of slop, man. Like, okay, Avengers Doomsday, it's going to make a bunch of money. How's Secret Wars going to do as a follow-up on that one? Because what we're seeing right now coming out of Doomsday, it just looks like... people are going to be intrigued, because it looks like such a dumpster fire. There's just so many people that are in there. How are you going to possibly competently tell a story on that one? It's literally marketing your film as a Jerry Springer type dumpster fire. You can't believe what we're doing. Okay, we can't believe what we're doing. You're going to have to come into theaters and check it out. But the rest of that stuff, like, okay, Hoppers, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Okay, but the rest of it, it's all remakes, sequels, prequels, midquels, what the hell ever else, or adaptations, man. And one actually on the bottom row there, Hunt for Gollum, ends up getting pushed out to 2027, which is, oh God, at this point in time, man, I almost want to just rip off the Band-Aid, mostly because the longer that you wait to film that stuff, the older Viggo Mortensen and Ian McKellen are going to get, and he's already going to look decrepit in Doomsday. Anyways, but yeah, that's 2026. We're not even out of 2025, and I'm already despondent about modern cinema and things aren't going to get better in 2026, because you're going to have another Street Fighter movie, as if the legend of Chun-Li and the original, like, as cheesy and corny as it is, Jean-Claude Van Damme's Guile, which, okay, if that didn't hit you so hard, your ancestors are gonna feel it. Street Fighter has never had a good movie. Okay, like, at least Mortal Kombat. Okay, I'm not talking about its reboot. I kind of think that is of a dubious quality, Kano aside. Maybe Mortal Kombat 2 will be good, but the original from the 90s, it was cheesy. The CGI looks like absolute ass, but it's still pretty good. It does, in fact, hold up decently. But Mandalorian and Grogu, okay, what are you going to be, 7 years removed from a proper Star Wars release, and 5 years removed from when anybody gave a shit about The Mandalorian? So that's a bold play, Cotton. See how well it works out for you. And then, yeah, part 2 of the Fast and Furious finale. I mean, theater goers, we be eating good, apparently, but that was all announced at CinemaCon, right? The upcoming slate of films that are going to be out there. And yeah, theater owners are just wondering, it's like, okay, cool, in a post-pandemic landscape, after you completely and totally butt-fucked us with all of your regulations, how are we supposed to survive? Okay, like, you keep putting out slop like this that nobody wants to see, that you're forcing us to air to empty theaters. What? How are we gonna make a living? Okay, we're just humble folks, owning we're just franchisees owners. Okay, it's like if everybody who owns an Arby's or a Burger King or something like that, just one of these retail chains, and the moment that, yeah, you try to bring something in, you're trying to sell an Arby's roast beef sandwich, surprise, we're switching out all of the roast beef for squirrel meat, and you got to sell that stuff. It's like, you're kneecapping us, man. How are you going to compensate us? How are we all going to make money on this one? Well, there's a bunch of interesting ideas that a lot of these studios at CinemaCon came together and decided, you know what? There's some stuff that we need to do in order to make these theaters more profitable. And well, they will go ahead and they will address everything, and they will come up with some of the dumbest ideas that you can possibly think of, except for the one incredibly obvious solution: make better movies. But hey, here's all of the bells and whistles that made you not want to go to the theater to begin with. So yeah, we'll just double down on those, because that's going to be a good idea, right? Unbelievable. Movie theaters are trying everything to bring audiences back, from pickleball to cocktail bars. Jesus Christ, because that's what you want. That's what you want, okay? Because, okay, I'm definitely a reserve case when it comes to this. The last film that I seen in theaters was Dark Knight Rises. I haven't been enticed to come back to the theaters in just about 15 years. Holy shit, next year it will be 15 years since. And even when I was there, I don't like people. I don't like to be around people when I'm watching a movie. It's mostly, I just want to engage with the media that's there. I want to be immersed in the story that's being told. I want to relate to the characters. Not like a superficial SJW way where it's like, I need to see myself represented on screen. No. I want to understand their motivations. I want to know their character traits. I want to see who they are. Okay, you're putting all of this money behind these big budget projects, and hey, I want to see these people fleshed out. I want to know how they're going to deal with a scenario, how they're going to get through this plot. And in recent years, all of these endeavors have been for naught because nobody puts this level of thought into it, which is why theaters are starving and why more people are acting like me, not wanting to go to the theaters. But yeah, instead of making better movies, let's just add things that aren't actually movies. Like, what? Okay, cool. This is like how, oh my God, and this is another thing that pisses me off as well, because as much as I used to like films and used to like TV and used to like things in general, baseball was something that I would love. I would just put on a game in the background. I really love baseball. Okay. But in recent years, it has just become totally insufferable. I hate the pitch clock. I hate the whole, a runner on second base and extra innings because we need more scoring and that makes the game more exciting. No. I love the human chess element of baseball. What is the pitcher going to throw? What is the hitter's approach at bat? That's what I love to see. I don't care if it takes a month. I don't care if Nomar Garciaparra is up there against Clay Buchholz and it's 7 minutes between each pitch. That's totally fine. That's the mind games. That's the psychological element of things. I don't care if David Ortiz is stepping back, resting the bat on his balls, and he's strapping in his gloves again, and he's slapping his hands, spitting on the ground, and then he's getting ready and he's timing everything out, and then he takes a step back from the batter's box after one is just high and outside. I don't care about that stuff, man. Baseball is because baseball is great and it's reliable. And then just throwing on all of these bells and whistles to make it more arcadey. We are what, like 10 seconds away. We are a couple of seasons away of having fucking Futurama's multi-ball. Because if you heard of that one stupid Rob Manlett suggestion of a golden at bat where, at one point during the game, a manager can put in any player that he wants into a scenario, and he can come in and he can hit at a critical point in the game. That is the dumbest shit imaginable. They'll do everything to address the pace of the game, which they think is a problem, I'm pretty sure that was a creation of the media on a slow day where they needed to come up with something to talk about on sports talk radio. Because nobody who actively watches baseball gives a fuck about how the expediency of the game. They just talk about the quality of the game. And since you've introduced all of these stupid little tricks, how much has the game time really been shortened up? Yeah, you don't want to go ahead and address that. And Rob Manlett has been a total disaster for baseball. But yeah, this is what theaters are doing. Instead of addressing the core problem, or even accurately addressing the core problem, if there is one, which, in Hollywood there very much is, so you're not putting out a compelling product, as opposed to baseball, which, it's a family game, and if you want to start focusing on shit that doesn't really much matter, and you want to continue to push a bunch of, divisive politics that you thought were really cool in basketball, which now basketball is reaping all of those rewards, where why is nobody watching our game? Oh yeah, because you started to focus on a bunch of, bitch-made superstars, and you alienated half of your audience by putting stupid politics all over your courts. But I digress. Moving back to Hollywood for a second. Years after the pandemic forced movie theaters across the country to close down, sending everyone home to their streaming devices, cinema chains are struggling to figure out how to bring audiences back. Because, that was the thing. And that was even before the pandemic, why people were just not showing up to the theaters in droves outside of the big tentpole releases. It's because, HD TVs and home theater systems started to become affordable. Everybody had a comparable setup in their studio or in their living room. Hell, at that point in time, where you didn't need a big old studio, you didn't need a big old theater. If you had one, that's super cool, but you also didn't have to get surrounded by a bunch of people on their cell phones, yapping during the movie, or just crunching a bunch of bags because nobody can go to watch a movie. They just simply want to stuff their face with a bunch of shit, which is apparently a solution. They're looking for everything. Yes, from lifting strict anti-phone policies to raucous sing-alongs, which I couldn't imagine. That is hell on earth. We need to find a way to get people back into the habit of going to the theaters. A John Fithian, co-founder of a consulting firm, the Fithian Group, told Variety, "You can't stay stuck in a 100-year-old way of doing business. That's not going to work anymore." Well, you haven't really done anything that has made it a 100-year-old business in a long time, but no, go ahead and tell us more. Since COVID, Eric Handler of Roth Capital Partners told the Trade Tab, theaters are seeing smaller crowds and weaker box office returns. So even if you have a movie like stupid Minecraft that is making all of the money, you have to realize that the amount of tickets being sold are considerably lower than films that used to break $1 billion. Like, I would love to see the breakdown, right? Because Return of the King had what, at that point in time, the second biggest box office opening, and would go on to be like the, oh God, I forget specifically what it was. But it was remarkable at a time for crossing $1 billion when movies didn't make $1 billion. And now you have, what, 2 or 3 every couple of years, or 2 or 3 a year at this point in time. And that's when movie tickets weren't $15, $20, $30 a pop. Oh, see, they just won't address the root problem. Anyways, now the recovery has been much slower than people hoped. Yeah, because you're not putting anything good. Like, that's the thing, man. Pandemic, yeah, it made us realize we need to diversify, said Bob Baggy, CEO of family-owned B&B theaters. We just can't depend on studios to provide us what we need to drive our business. What is that, Bob? What is that, Bob, that the studios need to provide us? What is that? That means pickleball games and cocktails in the lobby, even bowling, all designed to get people to see the theaters as more than just a place to screen the latest flicks. Oh yeah, turning them in. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, just turn your theaters into arcades, because those are still open and thriving, right? Holy shit. Fathom Entertainment, an event company backed by major chains like AMC and Regal, have found ways to turn slow nights into major happenings, screening everything from opera to boxing to classics like The Chosen, the biggest hit last year, a Coraline re-release. Yeah, that's another thing. What was it last year? I forget. It was during a very slow period, which is, anything outside of when Deadpool and Wolverine released. The re-release of Interstellar. That's about the newest film that I've seen released, but a lot of them that are being replayed in cinema, or in cinemas rather, they draw, depending on the movie, a fairly hefty return. But Warner Brothers, being the dumbest company in America, I mean, what was it? In 2023, you had the 20th anniversary of the completion of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and you did nothing with it. Whatever, man. They're just a dumbass company. But yeah, while these re-releases are hitting like crack cocaine, that's such a damning indictment about the quality of films, because yeah, people kind of like the whole theater experience. It's definitely something that is uniquely enjoyable, and you know what? They're going to see good films. It's almost like you could connect the dots here, but you're refusing to do so. Fathom CEO Ray Nutt told the outlet that it's all about the communal experience, because sometimes watching a movie at home doesn't cut it. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you want to be in the cinema and you want to see Smeagol choke the life out of Deagle, and you want to have the reverberation of the bass as his heartbeat slowly gets snuffed out and the life leaves his eyes. You just can't do that at home. Well, you can. It's just kind of illegal. As Nutt noted, coming out of the pandemic, everybody wanted to gather communally somewhere, and they wanted to be shoulder to shoulder. Really? Okay. Yes, but with that said, industry experts like Nutt hope that more live events will lure back lapsed moviegoers and rekindle the magic of the multiplex as a growing sector of business. No question about it, he stressed. Home viewing may now be the norm for many young film fans, but there could also be ways for theaters to lure them out again if they dare. Kev Jones, movie butt, yes, spotted by a reporter smoking weed outside AMC Times Square before a Mickey 17 screening. Oh my God, he was one of the 6 people that went to that film. That he'd hit the theater more often if he could legally light up inside. Holy shit, man. Okay, yeah, just start offering smoking sections in theaters. Holy shit, man. We're back here, huh? How fun would that be? I legitimately couldn't think of a worse experience. They have a bar here so people can relax and enjoy a drink. I love to relax on my own terms, which that's another insufferable aspect. All of these Alamo Drafthouse type shits where, yeah, you have these tables where you can just enjoy a meal and watch a movie. I'm just going to show just how much of a, non-fun person I am. I hate the smell of food unless I'm eating it. I don't want to smell it. I don't want to be around a bunch of people that are, eating things that either I don't like or I'm not eating. I don't want to smell that stuff. I don't want to hear the sound of silverware clanking off of plates while I'm trying to enjoy a fucking movie. I go to the cinema to watch a movie, not to hear and smell other people stuff their fat, disgusting faces, let alone start smoking weed. I could just go outside and go for a run and experience that several times over, because Canada's a dumb fucking country that thought that, hey man, we should just elect the substitute art teacher, man, because he's gonna legalize pot, man. Fucking idiots. At this time, cannabis can only be sold, illegal, whatever, man. That's the type of shit that they're trying to do. You'll put games in the lobby and let people get fucking stoned in the theaters. And then, then you got Paramount, right, that ended up kneecapping what could have been a $700 million movie in Sonic 3. Oh yeah, we should limit trailers, have no ads, matinee pricing until 6 p.m. and discounted tickets on multiple weekdays. Yeah, cool, man. Because I also understand that movies, the entertainment business is in fact just that. It's a business after all. Limit trailers and no ads. I mean, here's the thing, man. If you want to go ahead and try to do a soft version of that, you should have, the screen time. You should have, when the movie's going to start on your ticket. And then under that, you should also have a line that tells you when the movie is going to start. So if you want to miss out on that 20, 30 minutes of ads beforehand, you've seen all the trailers online, you don't need to see them again, then you could just rock up 5 minutes before the start date, not just, be in there 5 minutes before the start date. But talking about theaters that aren't making that much money, so just charge less for your tickets for the films that people aren't going to come see. And then even though when you take a look, and we have recently quite a bit for a few different movies, how Tuesdays tend to be when it comes to weekdates the most profitable night of the week, that's because at least in North America, I know that cheap Tuesdays is very much a thing. So other cinemas, I'm not entirely sure, but at least that used to be the thing. You would have another day throughout the week. I would advocate for a Thursday, perhaps, Thursday or a Wednesday, or maybe you just do middle of the week. They're cheaper tickets. And then for older films that have also had, and that's another thing that they're putting out there, a 45-day release window. And Paramount kneecapping themselves with the success of Sonic 3, which is very much riding a high. We talked about that at the tail end of 2024, how it was beating the brakes off of Mufasa. And then within 2 weeks of its release, they said, within, in a couple weeks time, you can catch it on Paramount Plus. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You killed any momentum of people looking forward to the theater to go and see that, when in exchange, I can just watch it on TV when it comes out in a couple of weeks' time. I don't have to go to the theater. But the whole 45-day release window, well, that'll be good for some films, like Sonic 3. You could also get stuck with a Captain America Brave New World or a Snow White. So how about admit you have a problem when it comes to quality of films, and then also reconcile that streaming services have otherwise killed and commodified the industry by just making content instead of making cinema, and that the reason that people haven't gone to the theater and don't desire to go to the theater is because of the reasons, and is because of the activities that you're trying to make more amenable and bring people to the theaters. It's total paradoxical thinking when the solution is looking you dead in the face. But hey, it's Hollywood, baby. You can always assume they're going to learn the wrong lessons, regardless of the questions asked. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.